My journey to Huacachina began with a long, dusty bus ride through a blur of brown and gray. The landscape outside my window was endless, miles of arid earth, scattered shrubs, and the occasional distant mountain. The bus rattled along the bumpy road, and I found myself lost in thought, wondering what kind of place could possibly exist out here, hidden in the heart of the Peruvian desert. I'd seen photos of a tiny village wrapped around a green lagoon, lost in a sea of sand. It seemed unreal, like a mirage. The idea of an oasis, a splash of life in the middle of nowhere, felt almost like a storybook fantasy. I was searching for something new, and this oasis felt like the perfect place to start. As the hours passed, the monotony of the desert was hypnotic, but then, suddenly, the landscape shifted. The bus turned a corner, and there it was, Huacachina, a splash of green and blue against endless gold. It was as if the desert had opened up to reveal a secret, a hidden paradise that had been waiting just for me. Palm trees swayed, their reflections shimmering on the lagoon, while colorful hotels and restaurants hugged the water's edge. The air was thick with the scent of warm sand and blooming flowers, and the sound of laughter drifted from the patios. It felt like stepping into another world, a secret haven surrounded by colossal dunes. The contrast between the lush oasis and the stark desert was breathtaking, almost surreal. The energy was a mix of calm and excitement for the adventures ahead. Travelers lounged in the shade, some chatting quietly, others gearing up for the day's activities, all sharing the same sense of anticipation. From my hostel window I saw the dunes, towering mountains of sand, alive with tiny figures and racing buggies. The golden light of the afternoon made the sand shimmer, and I could almost feel the heat radiating from the landscape. A surge of excitement and nerves hit me. This was the challenge I'd been craving. I could sense the promise of adventure in the air, and my heart raced at the thought of what was to come. The village was a maze of sandy streets and friendly faces, travelers from everywhere drawn by the magnetic pull of the desert. Locals greeted newcomers with warm smiles, and the whole place buzzed with a welcoming, adventurous spirit. I spent the afternoon circling the lagoon, soaking in the sun-baked air and the sense that this place was more than a destination. It was a feeling. Every step around the water's edge made me feel more connected to the oasis and its unique rhythm. As the sun began to set, painting the dunes in shades of orange and pink, I realized it was the edge of something incredible. I knew the desert was calling, inviting me to test my limits. The vastness of the sand seemed to whisper promises of discovery and transformation. I couldn't wait to see what it had in store. The possibilities felt endless, and I was ready to embrace every moment. Huacachina wasn't just a place. It was the start of a new adventure, a chapter in my journey that I knew would change me forever. The next afternoon, anticipation buzzed in the air. It was finally time to face the legendary dunes of Huacachina. I joined a group of fellow adventurers, and together we strapped into a roaring dune buggy, leaving the lush oasis behind in a swirling cloud of sand and excitement. The climb was wild and exhilarating, our buggy tilted at impossible angles, engine growling as the world below shrank away. The oasis lagoon, once so close, now looked like a tiny emerald jewel set in a sea of gold. At the summit I stepped out onto the soft sun-warmed sand, feeling both small and exhilarated. The heat radiated up from the dunes and the wind tugged at my clothes, reminding me how alive I felt in that moment. The silence was broken only by the wind, which sculpted the dunes into ever-changing waves and patterns, as if the desert itself was breathing. Looking out, the desert stretched endlessly in every direction, golden crests rolling to the horizon beneath a vast blue sky. It felt like standing at the edge of another world. The sheer scale was humbling, a planet made entirely of sand, where every step felt like a new discovery. My heart pounded as I realized this was the arena for my first sandboarding attempt. The board felt heavy in my hands, and nerves danced in my stomach. The slope looked impossibly steep, a dramatic drop into the unknown, daring me to take the leap. Our guide, calm and encouraging, handed out boards and assured us the sand was soft. Falling was part of the fun. His confidence was contagious, and laughter rippled through the group as he shared tips and stories. I took a deep breath, feeling a mix of fear and excitement, and stepped up to face the giant dune before me. The adventure was about to begin, and the energy was electric, as the first brave soul set off down the slope. The desert demanded respect, but in return it promised unforgettable thrills and memories that would last a lifetime. I was ready to answer its call, eager to carve my own path across the endless sands. The sandboards were simple, just polished wood with Velcro straps. Our guide demonstrated, start on your stomach, steer with your feet, brake with your hands. It sounded easy, but my nerves were buzzing. I picked up my board, found my spot at the edge, and watched a fellow traveler shoot down the dune, laughter trailing behind. Their success gave me courage. My turn came. I lay on the board, gripped the edge, and slid forward until I was hanging over the drop. The guide gave a gentle push, and suddenly I was flying. Sand sprayed, wind roared, and adrenaline took over. For a few seconds, fear vanished. I was part of the dune. I tried steering, but the speed was overwhelming. The dune was in control. At the bottom I tumbled off, laughing, heart pounding, mouth full of sand. I'd done it. I'd faced the giant and survived. The rush was addictive. I couldn't wait to go again. The desert had me hooked. After sliding on my stomach, I knew I had to try standing up. The guide made it look effortless, knees bent, weight back, arms out. I climbed a practice slope, legs burning, determination stronger than fatigue. Strapping in while standing was wobbly, the sand shifted beneath me. I focused on a point at the bottom, pushed off, and for a second I was upright, sliding, grinning. Then excitement got the better of me. I leaned too far, the board dug in, and I tumbled head over heels. Sand everywhere, but I was laughing. I got up, dusted off, and tried again. Each attempt brought a little more sliding, a little less falling. I learned to read the sand, to balance, to relax into the ride. It was a lesson in perseverance. Fall, get up, repeat. The struggle was part of the fun. Every small victory felt huge. I was determined to conquer my personal mountain, and with every run, I got a little closer. The dunes taught me how to fall, and how to laugh about it. Every stumble became a lesson, not just in balance, but in letting go of expectations and embracing the unexpected. Out here, falling wasn't failure, it was part of the adventure. Each slip and slide was a reminder that perfection isn't the goal, participation is. Each tumble was met with cheers and laughter, not frustration. We found ourselves rooting for each other, not just when we succeeded, but especially when we wiped out spectacularly. The soft sand turned wipeouts into comedy, not pain. It was impossible to take ourselves too seriously when we were all covered in sand, grinning from ear to ear. My most memorable fall, trying a turn, losing balance and sliding down on my back, laughing at the sky. In that moment, I realized how freeing it was to surrender to the experience. We celebrated our wipeouts, they became badges of honor. Each sandy high five was proof that we were living fully, not holding back. The pressure to be perfect disappeared, we were just trying, learning and having fun. Mistakes became memories and every attempt was a story worth telling. The joy was in the process, not just the success. We learned to celebrate the small victories, standing up for a few seconds or simply daring to try again. I realized the best memories come from the messy moments, the ones where things go wrong. Those imperfect moments brought us closer together and made the day unforgettable. The struggle was where the growth happened. Every climb back up the dune was a chance to encourage each other, to push past limits, and to discover new strengths. Lying in the sand, I felt free from the fear of not being good enough. The desert offered a kind of acceptance I hadn't known I needed. The desert didn't care if I was a pro, it just wanted me to show up and play. Out here, effort mattered more than expertise, and joy was found in simply being present. I embraced the messiness, the laughter, the challenge. Each fall was a reminder that life is richer when we let ourselves be imperfect. Falling became part of the story. It was the thread that tied our adventure together, making every moment more vivid and real. And that made the adventure unforgettable, a tapestry of laughter, struggle, and the pure joy of showing up, no matter how many times we fell. As sandboarding ended, our guide announced the dune buggy ride. We strapped in, the driver grinning mischievously. The engine roared and we launched over a massive dune, airborne for a heart-stopping moment. Screams and laughter filled the air as we plunged down near vertical slopes and drifted around sharp corners. The wind whipped through my hair, sand flying everywhere. The driver navigated the dunes like his personal playground, his energy infectious. It was pure, chaotic joy, a wild contrast to the focus of sandboarding. We sped through open basins and winding canyons, feeling like explorers on another planet. The ride was a shared thrill, our laughter blending into a chorus of excitement. Adventure came in many forms, sometimes quiet, sometimes wild. This was the high-octane climax to our day. We were all in it together, letting go and enjoying the ride. The desert roller coaster was an experience I'd never forget. After the adrenaline rush, our driver took us to a high ridge to watch the sunset. The engine cut, and silence settled over us as the sky transformed into a canvas of color. We sat on the warm sand, boards forgotten, just watching. Pinks, oranges, reds, and golds painted the sky, the dunes glowing in the fading light. The world felt still, peaceful, and breathtakingly beautiful. Gratitude washed over me, for my body, for new friends, for this incredible planet. The day's challenges melted away, replaced by a deep sense of peace. I'd come seeking adventure and found it, but also found tranquility. Adventure wasn't just about adrenaline, it was about moments like this, being present, connecting with nature, and letting the beauty sink in. As the sun vanished and stars appeared, I knew this memory would last forever. It was more than a fun day. It was a reminder to look for beauty. The desert's farewell was the perfect ending. Inspired to try sandboarding in Huacachina? Here are my top tips. Choose a reputable tour operator, ask around or check reviews. A good guide is key for safety, instruction, and the best buggy rides. Don't go alone. The desert is best explored with a pro. Wear lightweight athletic clothes and long pants to protect your legs. Closed-toe shoes are a must. The sand gets hot. Bring sunglasses and a scarf or bandana for the buggy ride. Stay hydrated, bring plenty of water. Sunscreen is essential. Apply generously and reapply often. Bring a small bag for essentials, but expect sand everywhere. Most importantly, bring the right attitude. Be open, have fun, and don't fear falling. Listen to your guide and your body. Go at your own pace. The goal isn't perfection, it's to challenge yourself and make memories. My day in Huacachina was more than a checklist activity, it was a lesson in living. Growth happens when we step into the unknown, trusting ourselves to fly or fall. These are the stories we'll tell, the memories that lift us on tough days. Pushing boundaries reveals our strength and resilience. Every new experience adds a layer to who we are. We owe it to ourselves to seek out adventure, big or small. Find your own Huacachina. It could be anywhere. The adventure is in the trying, in saying yes to the unknown. You'll be amazed at what you discover about the world and yourself. Thank you for joining me on this journey. I hope it sparks a little wanderlust in you. There are more mountains, oceans, and deserts ahead. The greatest adventure is always the one that lies ahead.